I am excited to announce that I have been nominated for the Most Delusional Trade of 2025. And this is a big fucking deal, folks. Welcome back to the Idea Supply Chain, where we take a look at where ideas come from and what makes those ideas valuable. Today, I want to talk about delusion, and specifically my own, because frankly, yeah, I am delusional. And so are all of us. But the problem is, we don't know where. And I've been trying to figure out where I am delusional. But the problem is, I've been trying to figure out where I'm delusional about how to make money while also not having the money to give myself time to stop and like deal with delusion. But I also need money if I want to get help from people. But people are what help you deal with delusion and figure out if you're in a shared reality. So let's talk about delusion a little more because this is actually really important. And one of the delusions I wanted to start off by breaking is this concept that time is money and that the two are linked to the internet. They are all connected, but not in the ways we think they are. And this is something I wanted to demonstrate. If you look at my channel through the lens of a marketer, you're going to try to figure out its value on cost per milli. So, how valuable is my channel per thousand viewers? I only had 1,000 viewers a couple times. I've been dicking around with this channel for a couple years and trying to figure shit out and what that looks like. And so I didn't focus on growing an audience because I didn't want an audience. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was trying to tune it. Well, the difference is now I know what I'm doing. And so the first thing I wanted to do is show everybody, including the algorithm, that I'm completely insane. Because then what I did is I found actual people who were willing to give me a shot, even though I sounded insane, because at least I was creating value for you, right? So I just dumped a shit ton of liquidity into Manifold. And I proved that I am fucking delusional. You wanted to know how I was in debt and not a millionaire with all of this knowledge and shit. This is why. I have no idea how the fuck money actually works. I know how it theoretically works. I know how it travels through networks. You have no idea how fucking hard it was to figure out how to actually just make money by myself because nobody taught me how my skills were valuable. And the thing is, like, my biggest skill is how to learn. And so I just kept learning and learning and learning, but nobody was actually able to show me, like, look, just stop learning and fucking make some money. Making money's not interesting because making money is doing something the same over and over again. And I don't like doing that. That's boring. I like learning, addicted to learning, actually. It's a kind of a problem. But I've realized now I can't learn the rest of what I need to learn alone. There's just too much. Basically, I realized that as I learned everything, I knew nothing, and that was an interesting awakening. Um, that's a whole thing. There's a lot of shit in my past that you can dig into if you're interested, and I'm gonna be explaining it. But mostly, what I wanted to do is I wanted to set up a story because stories are what actually sell. And I was trying to figure out the math of what's valuable. And I realized that you had to be able to calculate a return on investment. And so, as you think about me being delusional, and I totally am, but now I know exactly how delusional. And that's interesting because now we can measure the gap between where I thought I was and where I actually am and make projections on how long it'll take me to hit a million because I didn't have that before because I didn't have a core audience that I could project. Because the thing is, everybody on social media right now wants to like group everybody together. But we've created an incredible world of individuals who excel at very weird collections of things. And prediction markets are how we find that out. And so here's what I want from you because I'm trying to set up not a normal sponsorship deal with Manifold, but a research partnership because what I'm doing is super valuable to them. It can be super valuable to me if they just pay me, which I had a hard time asking for money. And that's why I said I was going to be a millionaire. It wasn't because I thought that Noah Kagan was necessarily going to pay me $1 million. It's because I finally got over my last fear of success. And this is something that Corey Wilkes talks about if you've followed him. But I took his class on the alchemy of fear. And fear is really at the core of what holds us back. It stops us from asking for what we want. And it stops us from putting the right value on our own time. And this is something that I wasn't doing appropriately for myself. Because I was trying to like calculate something that was true of every person. I wanted it to be a universal formula. And I realized that the universal formula is that it's uniquely you, and you have to understand what makes you uniquely you. And so when I realized that, I knew how to find my people. And when I knew how to find my people, I knew that making money wouldn't be a problem because I'm going to deliver you a return on investment. And that I promise you because it's going to be measurable because I don't let myself get by with fake bullshit metrics. So we're actually going to redefine the entire creator industry together. And we're going to do it by replacing CPM, cost per milli, with something called MAI, Market Action Index. And we're going to do this because it's going to show way more interesting data because we're going to map out what's not certain because that's where the markets live. Um, and so there's all sorts of shit that I'm just uncertain about. And so we're going to try to bet on it because I am absolutely terrible at the markets. But thankfully, somebody gave me a connection from my work to the math. Appreciate you, Jim. Um, and now I actually understand how to connect it to reality, but I need to see exactly how bad I am at it. Like I have some ideas, but I've been putting my family at risk with my ideas and testing them because I wasn't comfortable just making money and making sure that everything was stable for me. I had to like convolute it with everybody, and that was a problem. So I'm done with that. And now we're focused on actually making money because we need to start deploying experiments together. And I want to show Manifold the value of this data. So the more data we can collect, the better. And so the whole market action index is basically like how many markets did we spawn off? How many unique people are there involved in the markets? And then, how many of these people are returning and creating markets over time? Because this basically shows the trust profile of my channel in a way that the abstraction of like how many thousands of views I get really doesn't. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to keep this channel pretty small. But we're going to try to have it have a huge MAI so I can show the difference between having a giant channel that appeals to everybody and like going on the ad model. Because let me tell you, it turns out that like the CPM for financial channels, $20 to $40. Uh, I could make a shit ton of money off of ads, but I'm going to disable the ads because I want to do this aligned research model to map out the unknowns of the future because that's what I'm obsessed with. And I want people who are obsessed with it too to help me do that. And frankly, the people I found on Manifold are already like my best friends because they didn't just listen to me because I sounded smart. They called me on all of my bullshit and they told me exactly what they were thinking about what I was doing. And holy shit, do you have any idea how fucking refreshing that is? It's absolutely phenomenal. And I am so thankful for everyone on Manifold for helping me measure my delusion. And so I gladly accept the nomination of Most Delusional Trade of 2025 because for once in my life, I have a way to measure my delusion and I have people who are interested in helping me map out exactly where my delusions are because it'll make them money. And we're going to learn a lot of shit together. And so I'm working on an upcoming series. This is going to be the first big push. The goal is to get Manifold to sponsor it, but we need to prove value. So we're going to do that together by using this MAI and calculating it. And basically, I want to show the difference between video one and video two so I can create a very clear picture to Manifold about why this is valuable for everybody involved. And I promise it is because I designed it to be, and I spent so long proving out that I could do it, that I've absolutely no doubt in this model now. And that's why I'm very certain of what I'm doing, even if it looks to the outside like I'm insane, because frankly, I've looked to the outside like I'm insane for 5 years. But now I've proven that I'm not, and I know how to show it in the markets. So I just have to learn exactly what the market words mean and how to deal with actual money, because frankly, I've avoided it because it is a whole lot of stress for me because I am fucking bad at it. Um, and I'm not used to being bad at things. So this is my return to being bad and thankful. It's actually, if you look at some of my writing, I call it the death of the master. Um, and it's a return to beginner mindset. And so with this YouTube channel, I don't know anything about how it's going to go, but I'm going to make some bets on what I think could happen. And when I'm wrong, you're going to make money. And so we're all going to have some fun together. And I promise you're going to learn something. First series of videos: what are prediction markets? Why are prediction markets valuable? Then we're going to do an interview with Robin Hanson, kind of the OG prediction market dude. And then we're going to have a review module where I'm going to give you homework and you're going to prove that you've learned the shit. Because I need a baseline for teaching stuff. And so I'm going to go to prediction market to help me research prediction markets, to get people using prediction markets to uh, perform the research with me. And it's all going to just be a really fun time. And we're going to do some weird shit because, frankly, I want YouTube to like suppress my reach as much as possible, because I think it's going to be funny because I don't care about my reach. I care about my resonance. And frankly, I have more resonance with a handful of people on this market that I have in 5 years on Twitter. Um, and it was so much less effort to be seen. And I just want to say thank you to everyone on Manifold for actually seeing me, because frankly, I'm not used to that. And I have a whole paper on the economics, the mimetic economics. So mimetics is the foundation of human value. And I wrote a paper on it earlier this year. And the whole idea is that people are valued based on how they're seen. Um, and so when you're online and you're learning from so many different areas, you can make it really hard to be seen. And we've also created systems that punish people for being seen. And so there's this very weird risk reward payoff that you end up having to struggle with. And so I'm going to play around with this. We're going to actually see how long this channel stays small, because it's not going to stay small forever. It's going to blow up at some point. But let's see how small we can keep it and how valuable we can make it before it blows up, because that differential is huge arbitrage. And if we understand what's going to happen before it happens, the more we can push into it at the beginning, the better we're going to be. And this is exactly what I did this weekend as I'm relaunching the channel. I had to identify where my people were, by who actually gave a shit. Um, and once I proved that they were on Manifold, now I know. And now I have a core audience that I hope I've built enough trust with by being an obvious idiot and saying that, yeah, I'm here to learn, but we're going to have fun doing it. And yeah, so that's it for today. And I'm going to leave you with my pretend sponsor, the unknowns of this particular strain of cannabis, because I made my first $40 from all of this. And so I'm not a millionaire yet, but I had enough to buy a little bit of weed. And so I did. And here's what I don't know yet about cannabis.
All right, so I'm officially like positive $40. Made my first $40, and so I decided to buy myself a little bit of flour. So we got some strawberry guava here. Apparently has a really good strawberry smell to it when we open the container. Sitting at what is it like? It's about 25%. Yeah, 25.4% THC. Let's see. So the terpenes are myrcene, limonene, carophyllene, and pinene in those kind of percentages there. So we're going to start digging into what all that means, along with all this information on the label here. and we're gonna create. We're gonna just figure out what all the shit means together, because fuck it, I don't actually know, because I haven't had time to spend time figuring it out, but I do now. So we're gonna figure it all out. Let's do it together.